No, it doesn't make sense for only one side of the sheet to be clean. True enough. Remember, before the explosion, the blood on the body still hadn't dried. Togami even said that if we touched it, we'd get our hands dirty. If the sheet had been used to cover the body, there's no way it wouldn't have gotten blood on it. Maybe the culprit washed it to hide the fact that it had been used. Then they would have washed both sides, only washing one side doesn't hide anything. Oh, well, you have a point. And if the blood on the corpse was a red herring planted by the culprit... What? The blood a red herring? In other words, after riding out the sprinklers by using the vinyl sheet, couldn't the culprit have poured fake blood over the body? For fake blood? And where would they have gotten that? I know. What about the transfusion bags in the infirmary? That's the same place Yams got the blood he used when he was playing dead, dude. No, the blood used in this murder did not come from the infirmary. Rather, the culprit collected the fake blood at the crime scene, the garden. The culprit collected fake blood at the scene. In that case, it had to have come from... Oh! It's not fake. No! The chicken! The chicken was used for murder. And you perhaps talking about chicken blood? A chicken! When I last checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens inside. But after the murder, there were only 4. So basically, you're saying the culprit killed a chicken and used its blood? I have no words for such cruelty, dude. This is a terrible reason to kill a living creature. If it had to die, it should have been to make dinner. She got a point. Perhaps the culprit used blood available in the garden because they didn't want to be seen walking around. But in any event, the fact that one chicken has gone missing is evidence in favor of my theory. Even so, that doesn't explain everything. No? I think it's getting pretty close. You said the culprit waited out the sprinklers and then poured the chicken blood over the corpse. Had they done that, some of the blood should have spilled onto the ground around the body. But that wasn't the case. Only the corpse's clothes were bloody. There was no trace of blood on the ground around it. You're right. It is peculiar that the ground around the corpse is completely unaffected. Perhaps, then, the culprit planted the flake blood on the lab coat in advance, elsewhere, not at the scene. Planted it on the lab coat in advance. When you first discovered the body, was it actually wearing the lab coat? Ah, as I recall... No, her arms weren't going through the sleeves. The lab coat had just been placed over the body. Oh, then that settles it. Sorry, I'm not really following. What did we just settle? That the murder occurred before the sprinklers went off. The reason the corpse didn't get wet is because the culprit covered it in the vinyl sheet. After that, when the culprit went to retrieve the sheet, they placed the lab coat, which previously had chicken blood poured on it, on top of the body. By planting these red herrings, the culprit aimed to disguise the true time of the murder, to make it seem as though the murder happened after the sprinklers went off at 7:30 a.m. This is fucking confusing. So I'm lost as to who did it. Oh, we gotta get to the bottom of this shit. You're right. That method doesn't make it possible for the murder to have occurred before 7:30. But to do all of that, the culprit would have had to have gone to the garden after the sprinklers went off, right? They wouldn't need much time at all. All they had to do was move the vinyl sheet to the shed and drape the lab coat over the body. That wouldn't take much time at all. That's probably true, but Asahina, when you ran into the guy in the cafeteria, did the two of you stay together from then on? Nope, I went ahead to the gym and the guy showed up after me. So he had more than enough time, didn't he? Probably not. I wouldn't! You can't say it's not possible. It seems Kitty was correct. The guy's alibi is inadequate. In the end, I'm back to being a suspect. But why? Why is Kirigiri trying so hard to corner me like this? Why? Okay. Kitty, you're being a bit of a bitch. Can you stop being a bitch? I need to survive. I need to get out. I need to see my family. And it looks like we're back to square one. Since Nagai's alibi doesn't hold up, the suspects are he and Kirigiri. The real question is, which one of them did it, dude? Alright, how about we just dive right in and leave our fates to the fates? We got a 50-50 shot. I know, dude. Nice idea, ain't it? Not that, I just remembered something huge. Oh, and what would that be? You remember the knife that was in the garden by the body all burnt up and stuff? Yeah, the one sticking out of the corpse before the explosion? The Monokuma file says it was jabbed through the abdomen all the way to the back. So what about it? I felt like I've seen that knife somewhere before, and then I remembered. Hey, more importantly, what should we do with it? Obviously, Kawa keep it, because y'all gave it to me. What's the problem? Why don't we give it to the guy? To me? She set it up! Didn't she? Kirigi's the fucking killer! She wanted me to have the knife, so all the blame would go to me. She wanted to get out of here. Fuck! The lack of surprise on your face makes it seem like you already know as much as a guy. Yeah. In that case, why did you hide it? It's not like I was hiding it, I just... I don't know. I just wasn't sure, with what happened last night, that it wasn't actually me who killed her. That's fishy. Way too fishy, dude. The knife sticking out of the body was Nags. So there's no doubt about it, dude. There's a 12,000% chance Nag's the culprit. But from everything we discussed up till now, there's no room for doubt. I am not the culprit. I did not murder Mukuro Ukasaba. Hey, can you prove that, you shithead? The culprit red herring after the explosion. Fragments near the body. Wait. I think. So, I don't know what that did. Knife I gave the guy, so I was right, wasn't I? Okay. He's the culprit. He's the culprit, dude. What does it mean? Just because the knife was given to me. Because the knife's wound cause of death, so there's no question, dude. You took that knife and you plunged it into her. Makoto Nagai, you are a fearful man. Okay, when we were talking about the red herrings, we determined the lab coat was placed over the body, after the vinyl sheet was removed, which means the knife, which was stabbed through the lab coat. The knife was used to stab Mukuro Ukasaba. It is the same knife. Okay. So I was right, wasn't I? The fact that Nags had that knife means he's the culprit. Why does it mean I'm the culprit? Just because the knife was given to me. The knife wound was the cause of death, so there's no question. Okay, so there's only two things to challenge. When we were talking about the red herrings, we determined the lab coat was placed over the body, after the vinyl sheet was removed, which means the knife, which was stabbed through the lab coat, was... There's only two things to challenge, so I'm gonna try this one. Wow, that's right! Okay. I had no confidence in that. Okay, time remaining perfect, 200%, 100A. Whew! Okay. Well, the knife may have been in my possession. It wasn't the knife wound that killed Mukuro Ukasaba. That much should be obvious from what we talked about during the red herring discussion. You're lying, dude. How she died never once came up. Remember what we were saying? After they were done with the vinyl sheet, the culprit draped the bloody lab coat over the body. In other words, the lab coat was put on the victim post-mortem. What's your point? When we found the body, the knife had been stabbed through the lab coat, right? There's no way a knife piercing a lab coat placed over the victim after her death could be the cause of death. Couldn't she have been stabbed in the same place twice? Once for the kill and once through the coat? The victim was stabbed in the same place twice. No, that's not possible. It even says as much in a certain document we have all pertaining to the corpse. What's this? Severe damage caused by explosion. Deceased unknown. A single knife wound. Singular. The Monokuma file explicitly states that the deceased suffered a single knife wound, not two. Oh crap! I pickily forgot that, dude. So that knife, that too, was just another red herring planted by the culprit. The most likely intended to draw our eyes to the more conspicuous wound away from the true cause of death. Having the corpse explode is probably for the same reason. The body was severely damaged as a result of the explosion, hiding the cause of death. In other words, they were destroying evidence. That's why the culprit blew up the body. The culprit intentionally blew up the body after drawing our attention to the knife wound, so they could simultaneously destroy evidence and still leave us with that first impression. Hey, just a second, I got a quick question. What was that explosion anyway? Why did she just suddenly blow up? Use your damn head. There's no reason we should have spoon-fed this to you. If you know, then tell me. I know, unidentified particles in her body underwent a nuclear reaction resulting in spontaneous combustion. I am absolutely positive that's not what happened. Tell them the guys, so we're not stuck on this any longer. The reason is, fragments. We're gonna hurt back. You remember the small fragments on the ground near the body after the explosion? Those fragments were cause of the explosion. I feel like I recognize those from somewhere. Of course you recognize them. When we were disassembling Monokuma, Hagakuri pulled a bomb from inside of Monokuma. Those are fragments of that bomb. Then that explosion was Monokuma's bomb. In any event, it's obvious now what the culprit's objective was. The culprit built Nagai up as a suspect by making it look like the knife wound was the cause of death. And the only person who would benefit from doing that is the remaining suspect, Kyoko Kirigiri. So we're going back and forth here. But hold on a second, Togami. What, you have a problem? I think there's still more we need to talk about. We still don't know how Mukuro Ukusaba died, for example. You're right. I would like to know too. In the end, what actually killed her? Sure, why not? Well, then let's continue. Not that when all is said and done, it'll change anything. Anyway, now we need to figure out what the cause of death was. I need to give that my full attention. Holy fuck. Non-stop debate. What's my ammunition here? Monokuma File 5. One thing. So we just need to find the precise thing. Alright then, let's continue. Uncertain what caused the victim's death. The explosion isn't what killed her. Of course not. It wasn't the knife either, was it? In that case, what else looks suspicious? The Monokuma file says there were signs that it was hit in the back of the head. Aside from that, the victim also had numerous wounds covering her body. Okay, the knife wound was a red herring, and the wounds covering her body didn't happen recently. Okay, which leaves one possibility. Okay. So not that one. Not that one. Right there. What? No? Trying to say it was freaking clue. Think carefully, contradiction has to be somewhere. Okay, it's the first one then. No? Something just... Wait, maybe it's the one Fukawa said about the wounds on the body? I'll try that one. It's the only one I got left that makes sense. Wasn't the knife? What else looks suspicious? It says was hit in the head. Also had numerous wounds. What? Was there something wrong with what I just said? Think carefully, it has to be a contradiction somewhere. There has to be. Don't scare. Didn't I go through all of them? I fucked up. Everyone suspects no insistent thing to say. Well, it's already over. That's Charles, who's the villain. Boo, it's not me. Looks like most votes. It's too bad. He's not the villain. Congratulations, Vivek, for his flying colors. Everyone else punishment time. Is this? Would you like to try again? Fuck yeah. I'm not giving up just yet. Fuck, I didn't mean to die. Christ. Is there a button to, like, figure... Whoa. That button. not that button. Uncertain. Explosion. Of course not. It wasn't the knife. I don't think I contradicted that. I'll have to go for the knife, right? Whoa, okay, what am I looking for? Nothing's wrong with what you said. Yes, there does have to be a contradiction somewhere. Let's read it. Well, as a result of severe damage caused, okay, the deceased suffered a single knife wound to the abdomen extending to the back of the body. There were signs of trauma visible to the back of the deceased's head, which appeared to have been caused by a strike by a slender object approximately the same diameter as an iron pipe. Additionally, there are numerous wounds visible in multiple locations in his body. However, these wounds are not incurred in the last few days, but at some point earlier. We're still uncertain what caused the victim's death. That explosion isn't what killed her. It wasn't the knife. Monokuma File says hit in the head, and then we have numerous wounds covering the body. The knife wound was a red herring, and the wounds covering the body didn't happen recently. Okay. Oops. Hold on, let me hit the help button. Influence gauge, concentration gauge, controls. Okay. Move. Move. Silencer. Fast forward. Open. Electrocute. Select. Concentration. Fire ammunition. Convert weak point. Okay. Gotta have more ammunition than that. Yes, we're uncertain. That explosion isn't what did it. And it wasn't the knife. Oh, sorry, that was just my button. Oh, button's fucked again. Monokuma File says. Oh, fuck off, controller. Signs was hit on the back of the head. The knife wounds the red herring, which leaves one possibility. Yeah, what possibility, bud? What's this concentrating do? Oh, it just freezes it all. I think I fired at everything. I'm wrong. Think carefully, there has to be a contradiction somewhere. And you're right. Okay. Am I supposed to shoot it at that? It wasn't the knife either, was it? In that case, what else looks suspicious? I'm just gonna shoot at everything here. Okay, now. Oh, no. We know it wasn't that already. What was there wrong with that then? No, there's nothing wrong with what you said. Boom, wrong. There's something wrong with what I just said. No, there's not. Fuck, I don't know. There's gotta be something here. Nothing. Gotta figure this out.